Page 117, Meet Me in St. Louis, or Louis, whatever. This is another exercise in using lead sheets and improvising and harmonizing, making up the left hand, filling it in, sort of. They give you the melody here. The beginning, 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch this fingering. First thing you do is got to go through and learn the melody. So do that first in the right hand. Just make sure you got all this fingering down. It's the 4th finger on the F. Lift up between the phrases. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's tied. Next line, lift up, just move down. It's the end of a phrase. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, lift up. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now lift up at the end of the second line, the second finger. Then third line, third major, cross over, and it's the end of a phrase. Lift up. And then the end of the third line, lift up. It's the end of a phrase. And that's the right hand. Learn the right hand well. And then once you can play the right hand, then we can start thinking about what's going on in the left hand. Because the left hand, again, they're giving you the chords, the names up above, and you play it. No, they're helping you out by also giving you an example of the chord they want. In this case, it's a broken chord pattern for this typical in 3/4 time. And I generally connect the first two notes and then play the other separate. So it's ba-wum-bum, ba-wum-bum. Then for the F chord, you see that? And the last one is G7 chord. And then occasionally they just want you to play one note. When they give you that note, when they give it to you, otherwise you just fill in the chords. So it's like that. Second line, second measure, you see the D chord. A D chord, you have to, if you don't know what a D chord is, it's a D, an F sharp, and an A. Okay, the idea is you had a C chord, and you can just go up a whole step, but every note goes up a whole step. So the C goes to a D, because it's a whole step. The E has to go to an F sharp, because that's a whole step. And then the G goes to an A. They all go up a whole step. And that's what you play there. There's no sharp given, doesn't need to be. There is no sharp in the right hand. But the fact that it's a D chord tells you to use that D sharp. And you get D chords elsewhere too. So that second line there is here. And the G chord is here. It's not a G7 chord. It's a G chord. It's just a regular G chord. Now it's an E chord. The third line down, what's an E chord? Well, an E chord is you have to know what an E chord is. It's an E, G sharp, B. It's like a D chord. Go up a whole step. Here, a whole step. Here is a whole step. And here is a whole step. So you go from here to here. That's an E chord. That's what they want at the third line. And then an A minor chord, that's here. And then a D chord, G chord, and then a C chord at the bottom. That's basically it. I just showed you everything, but you can figure it out. These chords, I'm using root position on all of them to keep it simple. Except maybe the G7 chord, we use this one. The point is, you don't have to use root position on all of these. I mean, on the G chord, you could have gone here or here if it would be easy. You don't have to use root position, is what I'm saying. You can use one of the inversions. We talked about inversions. So you figure out, well, let's look at this. Look at the first line, the C chord, and then when they want an F chord, they just used an invert. They didn't use this F chord. they just used an inversion of it because the C would be here. We just put the C because it's easier. We don't have to move our hand around. And the G7 chord here. So in the second line, when you go to the D chord, there's not much motion here to here. I mean, that's simple enough. You can use that if you want. But then when the G chord comes along, you just as well go here. That's a G chord. It's just, I just put the D on the bottom because it's closer to where you are. And then for the E chord, we're here. And then they want an A minor chord. Well, again, an A minor chord, all I got to do is go here and leave the E, because that's the A minor chord. I just put the E on the bottom. So I'm using inversions on some of these. I'm not using root all the time. This is one of the things you can experiment with, and in time you'll get this where you'll just do it. You've done it so much, you just know these inversions, and you'll be able to just play these. So that second line, when you're playing it, and the D chord is here, but then the G chord, see here, then the E chord, then the A minor chord. I didn't move here, I just, again, that going from here to here. So use some of these inversions and experiment with this. So have fun with it. Explore the possibilities is what we're saying.